Have you ever looked back at a decision you made? A decision you thought through carefully, a decision you believed was rational, and realized it was utterly stupid? Maybe it was a relationship you should have ended sooner, an investment you thought was brilliant, but turned into a disaster, or words you said in anger that shattered something precious. And here's the uncomfortable truth. You're not stupid. You might actually be intelligent, thoughtful, maybe even the person others come to for advice. So why do we make decisions that feel beneath us? Why do smart people so often make stupid decisions? Let's go deeper. The philosopher Nietzsche once said, "Madness is rare in individuals, but in groups, parties, nations, and ages, it is the rule." He wasn't just talking about collective insanity. He was pointing to something more profound. Intelligence does not immunize us against foolishness. In fact, it can lead us directly into it. Think about it. Smart people are often more skilled at rationalizing their impulses. They can wrap poor judgment in eloquent logic, dressing up their desires as if they were wisdom. The more intelligent you are, the more sophisticated your self-deception becomes. Have you ever caught yourself saying, "I know it looks risky, but here's why it makes sense," while deep down you knew it didn't? That's your intelligence working against you. Plato in the Republic warned about the divided soul. He compared the human psyche to a charioteer struggling to control two wild horses, one representing rational thought, the other representing appetite and desire. Even the wisest charioteer can be dragged off course if the horses overpower him. This is where many of us fail. We assume intelligence alone will keep us safe. We mistake knowledge for wisdom. But wisdom isn't about knowing more. It's about knowing yourself. Let me tell you a story. In 1994, one of the smartest hedge fund groups in history was founded. It was called Long-Term Capital Management. It was led by Nobel Prize-winning economists, men who understood financial models better than anyone else in the world. For years, they outperformed every other firm on Wall Street. But then came the Asian financial crisis, followed by Russia's default. And these geniuses, these masters of probability and risk, lost nearly $4.6 billion in less than 4 months. Their intelligence couldn't save them from arrogance, from overconfidence, from ignoring the limits of their own models. What destroyed them wasn't stupidity, it was brilliance, untethered from humility. And maybe you felt this in your own life, on a smaller scale. You knew the statistics on relationships, on addictions, on health choices, yet you chose the opposite. You knew better, but you didn't do better. Why? Psychologists call this the knowing-doing gap. It's the space between knowledge and action, where emotion, ego, and fear slip in and quietly hijack the decision. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus said, "We suffer not from the events in our lives, but from our judgment about them." Knowledge tells us what we should do, but judgment, flawed, emotional, human judgment, determines what we actually do. Here's another uncomfortable truth. Smart people are often paralyzed by complexity. Have you noticed how sometimes the simplest decision is the hardest one? A simple yes or no, clear walk away, or commit fully. But the intelligent mind can generate endless possibilities, hypothetical scenarios, what-ifs. It gets lost in analysis, while the moment of clarity slips away. This is what we call analysis paralysis. Think about Hamlet in Shakespeare's tragedy. He wasn't stupid, he was brilliant. He could see every possible angle of his dilemma. And yet, his constant hesitation led not only to his downfall, but to the destruction of everyone around him. Overthinking can be just as deadly as not thinking at all. But there's something even deeper. Sometimes, smart people make stupid decisions because intelligence creates blind spots. If you've always succeeded with your mind, You start to believe your mind is invincible. You rely on it the way a warrior relies on his sword. But every sword has a weakness. And when the moment comes that you need humility, emotional intelligence, or moral courage, logic alone will not save you. This is why Aristotle believed in cultivating not just intellectual virtue, but moral virtue. To him, knowledge was incomplete without the training of character. Wisdom was not just knowing what is true, but practicing what is good. Let's step into something even more uncomfortable. Have you ever noticed that the most intelligent people sometimes make the most catastrophic mistakes in love? They can solve equations, write poetry, design skyscrapers. But in relationships, they ignore red flags, chase illusions, or cling to what they know will hurt them. Why? Because intelligence cannot silence loneliness. It can not erase the primal need for connection. Even the wisest mind can fall to the hungers of the heart. As Pascal wrote, the heart has its reasons, which reason does not know. And so, smart people make stupid decisions not despite their intelligence, but because their intelligence tricks them into believing they're safe from folly. Now let's confront this in you. Think of a decision you regret. Not a small one, a big one. One that changed the direction of your life. Ask yourself, did you really not know better? Or did you know and ignore it? Did you convince yourself, rationalize, make excuses? Did you lean on your intelligence as a shield against the truth you didn't want to face? That's the monster inside intelligence, its ability to serve your denial. Nietzsche once warned, if you gaze long enough into the abyss will gaze back into you. We often interpret this as a warning against evil, but it also applies to self-deception. The more we argue with ourselves, the more the abyss of rationalization swallows us whole. So, what's the way out? First, humility. Accept that being smart does not make you wise. In fact, it makes you more vulnerable to the traps of pride. Second, awareness. Build the discipline to pause before big decisions, to ask not just, does this make sense, but am I being honest with myself? Third, character. Intelligence is a tool. Character is the hand that wields it. Without virtue, without courage, justice, temperance, and wisdom, intelligence is a sword without a warrior. The uncomfortable truth is this: intelligence is not the antidote to stupidity. It is often the disguise of it. Smart people make stupid decisions because they forget the limits of their own minds, because they mistake cleverness for wisdom, because they let ego speak louder than conscience. And if you're honest, you've seen this in yourself. You've lived it. You've felt the sting of it. The question is not whether you're smart enough to avoid stupid decisions. The question is whether you're humble enough to confront the part of yourself that wants to make them. So the next time you stand at the edge of a decision, remember this: the choice isn't between being smart or stupid. The choice is between being clever or being wise, between protecting your ego or protecting your soul. And wisdom, real wisdom, begins the moment you stop asking, "What do I know?" and start asking, "What am I pretending not to know?" Because in that moment, you stop being a smart fool, and you begin to become something far greater.